and a half hour.
Okay.
We are going live.
Okay.
When we talk about innovations in different industries, we talk about AI, blockchain, IoT, robotics, disrupting retail, banking, financial services, insurance, manufacturing, and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, very rarely we talk about innovations, digital transformations in the marine industry. And that's sad because it's a more than $350 billion industry, which has a lot of room for the innovation, for the technological, digital transformation. And that's the reason that we are hosting this panel, thought leadership panel on innovations and digital transformations evolving marine industry with our portfolio startup, Boatmate from Turkey. Hi, this is Pankaj Gupta from EthAum Venture Partners. We are a deep tech revenue scaler and fund based out of Singapore with approximately 100 portfolio startups from different geography, stages, and sectors. Boatmate is one of the startups that we onboarded in July 2023 program, and they are doing some fantastic work in digitizing the marine industry. And that's the reason that we are having this fantastic panel discussion with some extremely intelligent and subject matter experts from different parts of the world. I would request Murad to do a brief introduction of himself and Boatmate, and then I would request our panelists to do a brief introduction of themselves. Murad, please.
Thank you, Pankaj. Hello, everyone. I'm Murad, co-founder of Boatmate. I'm a naval architect and marine engineer. I've been an entrepreneur in the boating industry and digital technology space since 2007. And we have been working on Boatmate for the last 2 years. Boatmate has becoming a pioneering marine tech platform in order to help marine businesses enhance customer experience and streamline sales. So we have a marine business directory, marine e-commerce solution, payment solution, and much more. So Boatmate is we are working basically on creating a digital platform to redesign untapped leisure, marine, and yachting industry. So let's take this as a brief intro for now. In the second phase of the panel, I will get into the details of what we do on Boatmate. And also at that second phase of the panel, you will also be asking your questions if you have. So thank you all for being together with us and participating in the event today.
Thanks a lot, Murad. I'm sure that you will do a fantastic job with moderating the event and the panel. Now I would request Molloy to do a brief introduction. Molloy, please.
Hi, my name is Molloy Das. I'm working in a company called Boatmate, and I've been working in marine industry for last 28 years. I've been sailing earlier, being a deck officer, and then I left sea in 2001, and since 2001 I've been working in different shore industries, and I have experience in ship management, ship services, setting product services, plenty of things. And right now I'm based out of Dubai, and I head the sales for Middle East and Asia Pacific.
Thanks a lot, Molloy. Really appreciate your time today. I'm sure you are going to provide a lot of great insights to the audience. May I request Adria to go ahead and do a brief introduction, please?
Sure. Thank you, Pankaj. Thank you, Murad, for putting this wonderful panel together. My name is Adria Jober from New York, and I'm the president of the International Electric Marine Association. An association is a non-profit industrial cluster comprising over 40 companies from all over the world that bring solutions for the marine, industry. There is a few niche, from shipyards, battery makers, electric components, chargers, power bridge, engines, and public infrastructure such as ports and marinas. We are a brand new association, obviously representing a new category erupting into the old school boating scene, and we are here to work on their representation, on their interest, to enhance the public and private awareness, and ultimately to create government affairs to push and help the regulation to recognize into a better, more sustainable way through innovation and public health. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Adria. You are doing fantastic work for the whole industry through your association. So really appreciate your efforts. Ivan, please, a brief introduction.
Yeah, thanks a lot. So my name is Ivan. I'm a founder of Marine Digital. I'm based in Germany. With Marine Digital team, we develop, to put it simple, we help vessels to reduce the fuel consumption utilizing digital twin and AI technologies. So we do a lot of hydrodynamic modeling, performance modeling, and we help fleet managers, fleet owners to make the operation transparent and solve energy efficiency problems. So that's in a highlight.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Ivan. I will move on to David for an introduction. David, please.
Hi, my name is David Landers. I'm based in the US and I'm co-founder of a company called Alarivian. And Alarivian is a company that has taken the proven science of nanobubble oxidation and adapted it to the problem of remediating ocean habitats and the mitigation of aquatic-based greenhouse gases, namely methane, nitrous oxide. On the remediation side, we address harmful algal blooms, deoxygenation, pollution, including nitrogen and phosphorus from agriculture, industrial pollution, toxins, plastics, acidification, coral bleaching. So our solution, our nano oxidation solution, is delivered on what we call our sea breather vessels. So it's a holistic solution. We bring we bring our solution to the fight. We work with companies in desalination, federal and state governments around the world, extractive industries, and so forth.
Fantastic. I think this is the solution for the right time because of focus on the sustainability, on the climate change, and on the environment. So really appreciate, David, your presence. And again, I'm really excited to see the diversity of our panel today. And I'm really excited to see what kind of insights we are going to gather through this panel discussion. Murad, now it's your turn to bring out some exciting, hot, sizzling questions and get the insights from a panelist. Murad.
Okay. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, based on wherever you are on Earth. And welcome to this engaging and insightful thought leadership panel, which is about innovation disrupting the marine industry. I'm honored to be the event moderator today. So we have remarkable panelists here to talk about the transformative trends shaping the marine industry and the pivotal role of digitization. So we will begin our discussion with the general marine innovations and then shift our focus to the excited world of the digital transformation. With an alphabetical order, we have Adria Jober, David Landers, Ivan Laden, and Molloy Das. So before we dive into our discussion, a quick note for our panelists. Each question will be followed by a 2 minutes response from each of you. Please aim to keep your answers within this time frame to ensure we cover all the topics effectively. After each response, I will open the floor for any additional comments and thoughts. So let's start by talking about the main innovations shaping the future of marine industry. Adria, let's start with you. So Adria, you are an experienced entrepreneur and managing partner of a venture studio and a president of the International Electric Marine Association. I believe you can take a look at the industry from a different perspective. So please tell us, as a marine leader, what are the main innovations according to you that will shape the future of the industry?
Thank you, Murad. Well, I think that, as you all know, the marine industry is going through a transformative, process, along with any other, mobility or, electric vehicle. niche, and I think that there is two main elements, that will define the course of the next. I wouldn't go 10 years because the way the world is going today, 10 years is is gambling. But within the next 5 years, I would say that there is the electric propulsion and sustainable energy solutions will reshape the way companies will relate across their R&D and on their final product solutions. Especially on the battery element, right? There is a lack of confidence yet from the mass consumer on the ability to provide a good experience, and not just for recreational boats, but for service boats with U.S. Coast Guards or with police departments, with port services. You have some problems with municipalities, with governments at betting hard on electric public mobility, solutions. The technology is there, but there is, the behavioral, of the consumer or the final buyer is still, there is a barrier. And I think a big element of it is the autonomous, and the ability to provide extended, autonomous independence to these vessels, regardless of their usage. And I would say that today, from lithium battery to solid states to aluminum, to there is so much going on, and whoever will crack the nut in providing short charging periods, maximizing its autonomy, its weight, as we know hydrodynamics is related to its weight on all vessels. That will be, to me, one of the main elements. The other one will be safety, right? And here's where we do our humble contribution along with all the other Ocean Council and the World Ocean Alliance, etc. The game is to make sure that from freight services to recreational sector, everyone takes security and sustainability as a big and foremost element of their strategies, not just as a greenwash, but as a requirement to have, the approval to, for their homologations, for the usage, for whatever, rights or certificates that they will gain either in the European Union or in the US or in, any other major territory. So those two elements, I think, are defining a lot. And then there is a third one that I would say is digitalization, right? There is a lack of management systems and data-driven, systems between not just marinas and vessels, but between governments. And I think it will be very important that the initiatives of Duran and Murad, they help to shape up, what will be those languages that everybody agrees, where we can have real-time information, that we can analyze and run real-time diagnose on all these items, either if it's a battery, an engine, a powertrain, to capture, as it's happening already in the car industry. Then will be another question if that data should be, public, it should be government owned, or it should be owned by each company. But there definitely should be a place where this gets exchanged for, again, homeland security, for, preventing disasters, etc. So those big elements in terms of energy, mobility, safety, and data, I think that will evolve, what we are seeing so far across all the members. That is crucial to resolve collectively. That's our ultimate, and just to finish, that's our ultimate, solution. Everybody says, what do you think we can do? What would we recommend to everyone is you have to work collectively. The solutions will come by exchanging technologies, helping each other, and thinking that this is a collective effort. So,
thank you, Adria. Now, David, we can continue with you.
Well, it's a very difficult act to follow. It's quite a comprehensive answer from Adria. I might sort of build on what Adria said. I agree absolutely about the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, a big agreement on autonomous vessels. But what I would say, and of course, marine conservation, vessel-based marine conservation is coming into being. A good example of that is the Clean Seas program, which is promoting running clean regattas and so forth. But anyway, back to the Internet of Things is what interests me most, because in my company, Alarivian, and what is integral to our business model, what we're seeing is an amazing proliferation of the monitoring and measurement of the ocean environment. Only about 8% of the surface of the Earth is monitored and measured, putting satellite aside. But the amount of money going into satellite monitoring measurement, buoy monitoring measurement from land-based systems, and also drones is creating a proliferation of data. Just look at Google Earth surfaces. And there's so much data out there and growing exponentially. And I think the applications will be, are running to sort of catch up with what's available and what's possible. So you'll see refinement absolutely in things like weather and safety related applications, but out of that will come applications that we have, we haven't even foreseen yet.
Thank you, Ivan.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Well, my guess is that there are actually plenty of innovations happening right now. Since I'm on the vessel energy efficiency side, I will talk about this niche because maritime is huge. Specifically, first of all, Starlink doing a great thing, making the internet connection available and obviously cheaper, because for the last many years 5,000 per month for unlimited connection seems to be a pretty heavy pressure on many. In terms of data acquisition, so obviously majority of the global fleet they are retrofits, and today we have a problem digitizing retrofits to make them efficient, because this is the bottleneck of the current cycle. And plenty of data transfer technologies like LoRaWAN, Wi-Fi 6 there, Bluetooth Low Energy. We have non-invasive data acquisition right now, and it's a new wave in the market that might bring a lot of opportunities in the upcoming 2-3 years, maybe. Also, my guess that one of the biggest problems is fragmentation of the market. So there are many participants not motivated to have the final result, but actually it might sound strange, but regulations actually somehow pushing the market towards this kind of communication or maybe consolidation here. And in the maritime industry, it's really strange because in comparison to the banking sector, there's a standard of intercommunication called SWIFT for 50 years already. In maritime, we have nothing. So every port, every big company got own standard. And it's hard to call it innovation in 2023, 2024, but this will be innovation for the maritime industry if this happens. If we will have single standard for vessel to port communication, or maybe some sort of consolidated API between like major stakeholders, this will boost market a lot. Also, right now everyone is talking about some platforms or standards like for enabling the cooperation between participants like charter party, fleet managers, fleet owners, port. So this might be some sort of innovation also.
Okay, thank you, Ivan. Molloy.
Yeah, there are almost everyone has touched base on plenty of things. What I feel is that as an innovation point of view, obviously inefficiency is one of the major things which I see that within the marine industry is still there, and fragmentation, as mentioned, and it is not into a one sort of a model or a framework. In inefficiency, if I want to make it as a very broader term, like when I've been talking to many of the fleet owners, fleet managers, or ship managers, where I see that they're one of the pain points is like the amount of the inventory which is there in on board ship, and which has been, keep on building up, and no one has the actual control to monitor, because the supply chain is one of the area where the supply chain is based in office versus the people who are managing the actual inventory on board. There is a big gap, and there's a mismatch there. And in that area, if digitalization can come in and can, can bridge that gap, I feel that really will help to, bring down the inefficiency, can reduce the cost of operation, and also it will have a much more leaner way of operating at a very optimized cost. So I feel that that is one of the area which will work and actually should work. Second is very important, which is again everyone has touched base in a bits and pieces, is the environment, which is again important. Net zero 2050 is coming, and there are companies are moving towards that, and I feel that environmental concerns will be one of the area, and how to measure the carbon footprint and getting into the digitalization of those, that would be another innovation area. I would presume that these two things would be coming in future.
Thank you, Malloy. Thanks for your insight. And I also believe that sustainability related innovations, which we might say that, electrification, energy efficiency, alternative energy systems, and environmental protection solutions are one of the important trends. The others might be something that's related with enhanced customer experience, and also innovations on ease of using the vehicles, ships, yachts, boats, will play an important role in the transformation of the industry. So before we move on to the next topic, does anyone have anything to add from panelists? All right, so now let's talk about digital innovation and its role in the marine industry's future. So David, for the second topic, we can start with you. You have been leading sea ecosystem resilience and ocean conservation organizations. And additionally, you have also experienced more advanced industries in digital space, such as FMCG sector and international trade sector. So I believe this will bring you a broader vision. Could you please let us know, what are your thoughts about digital innovation, and how do you describe the digital future of the industry?
I'm gonna have to parse it down to the segment of the industry that I'm most familiar with, and perhaps go from there. Getting back to the proliferation of investment, and then the capacity of monitoring and measurement of the oceans in all respects. I mean, everything from measuring the things that relate to weather to things that relate to marine conservation, like chlorophyll counts, or the physical chemistry, or the metagenomic, or all taxa environment. The struggle right now is how to make how to integrate all these different databases, and then how to use that information and adapt it to the problem that our company's trying to solve, and it would be the same for many other who would avail themselves to these databases. So it's almost it's interesting. It's very much a supply driven right now, and demand is catching up. And I think what's constraining demand a bit is really there's an opportunity around companies to look at what can we do with this amazing proliferation of investment and resulting data that is arising.
Okay, thank you, Ivan.
Yeah, well, it's actually not really easy to forecast the future of the maritime industry today. I hope it will be bright. In terms of digital technologies, I think that, there are some obvious trends that, the vessel operations will become more transparent, that we will have, multiple onboard system for safety, for maintenance prediction, for onboard weather forecast, for navigation. And perhaps one of the most important parts, in my understanding, it's the connectivity between the office and the vessel, the synchronization of the environmental picture around, because also charter party, fleet manager, they are fighting around that. Maybe still it's like a big concern. Maybe terminal operators will become more transparent. Maybe we will have a digital berthing, applications somewhere in the far future. But actually, right now, especially after the COVID, crisis, everyone were really concerned about, the efficiency of this part of the supply chain. And I think right now there's a pretty big pressure on the transparency, on the carbon footprint reporting, on the quality of the data. So I guess it's all moving somewhere there. Plus, we also got autonomous shipping somewhere around. It's really still far away, because if the engine fails, who will fix it without human? So my guess that it's about more efficient communication. It's about available local or edge technologies on board. It's about more efficient applications of routing, of performance analysis, also utilizing neural networks, utilizing machine learning or maybe general AI. And we will see how large language models will work out, because it's not clear yet.
Thank you. So, Malloy, you are the next.
What I feel is that, it is very important about the innovation is obviously more data-driven and decision-making will be coming, because I feel that data is the heart of a digital innovation. And if we have more data, so it will be, I feel that there will be increasing data analytics and machine learning will be coming, so that at least people who are taking a decision, they can take an informed decision. Second would be, as a customer centricity focus, I feel that, digital innovation is the place, a strong emphasis on understanding and meeting the customer needs, and industry would be moving towards that side. I that is my take. And obviously the sustainability and responsibility. So digital future of industry includes, growing focus on the sustainability and corporate responsibilities, where we see that ESG is also coming in force, and people are now consciously thinking about those things. Where I know one of the there are companies who are moving away from the plastics, and they are going to more environment friendly stuff. So obviously, we see that these things will part of the future, and companies will be going more into digital technologies, reduce their environmental footprint, and address the societal challenges.
Perfect. So, Adria.
Yeah, it's I'll share a symptom as an example of that I think that represents what my colleagues just mentioned. Across all these 40 plus companies that we have, and as I shared before, they go from like vessels to chargers, electric grid, etc. What we've seen, and I would say that about 80% of them, they're either fundraising or are about to fundraise, or they will be fundraising for the next 5-7 years, right? Until hopefully you guys, Ivan, you make it to a public company, and and you can scale and give us solutions, worldwide, hopefully. But the matter of fact is that they're fundraising, and it's hard enough to fundraise, but it's even harder when there is no data from the financial sector to assess the TAM, the sum, the TAM, the available markets, the trends, the growth. There is no indicators that allows them, and me coming from my, financial sector, that I can build, a scenario, benchmark, scenarios to compare, assess risk. So I think that this is a symptom on how important it is to exchange that data, to consolidate that data for insurance sectors, for financial sectors, for conservationist and sustainable sectors. Everyone needs it, no? And here I think that it will be because everyone here, all this brain power that we have and these great, funders that they dedicate their life to push these amazing technologies, that's one element. I think that there is going to be, call it acts of God that might have an impact, which is the cost of energy. I think that Europe is pushed by its own reality to, I don't know if they do it because they believe in sustainability. Some will, some others, but it's a price-driven decision. And they know that in order to reduce their fuel consumption, in the EU, they have to rely more on, sustainable energy sources. And the only way how they're going to be able to do that is by really interconnecting, all these initiatives that is energy sourcing, electric grid, and then all these products, software and hardware that will implement, that will optimize its mobility for whatever its purpose is. So here, I don't know, I would like to open maybe to ask the people that have more experience in Asia or etc. if you think that will be elements beyond our ability to transform the industry that will be the catalyst, to push for once and allow governments, public and private sector to work together. Is from my point of view, it's going to be a price-driven decision and not a sustainable, unfortunately, not a sustainable driven decision. I don't know if you guys agree on that.
Yeah,
So
everyone counts. every budget is like important part of the company's operation. So yeah, for sure, it's a huge pressure right now. The oil prices, skyrocketing for the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
anyone wants to add something? Great, thank you, wonderful. I believe that, the change in customer experience or cost-related challenges, maybe energy increase, efficiency increase targets and increasing competition have been triggering these digital transformation, and the digital solution will be a must-have to manage the operation, make some data-driven decision, interact with customers and achieve streamlined sales. So now let's discuss potential hurdles in the adoption of innovative digital solution within the marine industry and strategies to overcome them. Ivan, you have been working on your venture named Marine Digital for the last 5 years, if I'm not wrong. I believe this question might also be about your daily challenges. So could you please tell a bit about, what do you perceive as a potential hurdles in the adoption of innovative digital solution within the marine industry, and how can these challenges be overcome?
Oh, well, there are plenty. I can talk about it for hours. Well, first of all, it's general, the maritime is really closed industry. It's really hard to, enter this industry from outside. Plenty of really bright minds from IT just could not, find any information, any access to, run a pilot, to launch something. And actually industry stays far away still today in 2023, stays really far away from the normal technological reality. And basically the mindset of, a closed community, it's one of the biggest barriers. No one trusts anybody, you only trust your friends, and it scales up to the, global industry. The second part, basically, as I mentioned, it's like lack of any standard. So when you're trying to scale the solution, there are many talks right now about if any unicorn is possible in the maritime, because it might be so that this industry structure just, never allowed that. Also, the industrial specifics, actually, I can say there are lack of startups around the globe in maritime. Basically, if we compare it with the financial markets, with the fintech or insurtech, or maybe even the health tech, I know maybe 20 around the world, maybe there are several hundreds in comparison to the several thousand, because it's like really heavy combination. You need to have, advanced IT knowledge, you need to be involved into marine engineering, you need to know meteorology, you need to, you need to have network inside the industry. also access to the funding is pretty, heavy in this industry. And, we all hear the stories about, 6-7 years of market entrance, which is normal for this style of industry. You develop, deep tech, and it takes like a lot of time to test it. I mean that, first of all, a lot of big corporates are building the innovation hubs right now, which is somehow helps. There are many, government initiatives, also ESG regulations. They boosted the market right now. Carbon intensity regulations also boosted and shifted the market, specifically this year. There are plenty other challenges. So how to overcome them? Just like, continue to move forward.
Yeah. I do understand, the challenges, and I feel the fundraising part deep inside my heart. So as a plus, I just contribute what you said. As far as I have seen, the funds, VCs and other, startup investors may not be very familiar with the industry, and they have, even if the industry is very big and full of its opportunities, I call it a blue ocean, in terms of competition. In this giant and blue ocean market, unfortunately, the interest of the funds are not at the the level that it's supposed to be. Just want to contribute, so we can move to Malloy.
I agree with just now what was said, by the fellow panelist. And obviously, there is a big challenge in getting into the marine industry and to have that, because people have the thought process, which is difficult to change. Second hindrance or challenge I would see is the high initial cost, and as he rightly mentioned, is that how many actually people are actually coming ahead, and the unicorns who understand the business, who understand the industry, and then want to invest into the different element of the digital solutions. There's another issue, obviously, is I see the regulatory issues, and it is heavily regulated driven, industry. So that to understand that, it is very important what we are trying to bring in for the industry. So it has to be very much, important to understand the international and national regulation governing bodies, the solutions what we are going to bring in. And another last thing which I feel is that skill gap, because in maritime industry has a workforce which is basically mostly driven by people who already either were having a sailing experience, and that is one of the area which I see that they would like to have people who has a good understanding on that. And so that to change the mindset, it is important to understand what is the actual requirement of a customer, and then bring a solution. So I feel that one of the skill gap is understanding of the digitalization with related to having a clear understanding on the maritime industry. I feel that is another challenge that I see as a hurdle.
Yeah. Thank you to Adria. You are the next.
Thank you. I will use another example of one of the segment that we see that it's becoming, it's not an obstacle, and then definitely they want to optimize, because once again, related to cost, they will, but it's the freight sector, right? I think there is a challenge in retrofitting, these vessels that cost, billions of dollars, and their lifetime is expected to last and, provide all these gains. They're forced by their own unit economics, but the truth is that until these, big vessels, until this sector doesn't start pivoting, towards the digitalization, it will be, and I'm not saying that they're not digitalized, it's not, they're not they're not carbon. They don't use carbon to propulse, and they're open to adding cells to optimize 3-4% fuel. They're exploring hydrogen solutions, etc. But it needs to go obviously faster, because I think that there are kind of a natural barrier in the ability for all these sections, all these sectors to interact. Regulatory compliance for, I think it's especially concerning for autonomous, vessels theory. That will be, I think, another layer that will add the complexity on, the digitalization. And definitely all the regulatory bodies should work they should be aligned, but in order to do so, we go back to kilometer zero, like the systems and the data and the database, should be, across the board, should be certain homologations. We should consolidate some of these captures to serve the purpose, to serve the whole, and to find, the best way to regulate, what kind of data should be available once again to the public, what kind of data should remain, for the companies. So I think that those, especially, the freight sector, it is and it will be always a bit of a heavyweight, and it will drag down, the ability that we have the rest of the sectors to digitalize and, share a common system.
Thank you. David, what do you have for us?
Yeah, look, one has to ask what are the pressures for change, once the externalities of shipping are added into the cost of shipping, so resources used, and then the ill effects created as a result of the action of the shipping industry, pollution primarily, until those costs are factored into the economic equation, there really aren't great pressures for change. So then you have voluntary action, like Maersk, for example, being one example of a company that sort of jumped out, ahead of regulation, and taken initiatives to run clean fleets. And there's digitization that goes alongside with that. But that's not a hell of a movement if it's just based on a voluntary basis only. It's been a historically very difficult industry. Again, we're talking commercial shipping here. For starters, it's been historically very difficult industry to regulate. Collision regulations for conduct of vessels at sea, International Association of Lightkeepers, IALA, the IALA system. These conventions only, it wasn't long ago, when we just only had our first agreements around these, global conventions. So that's what kind of makes it tough. But I think there's digitization and the opportunities for improvement of navigation, weather, and so forth. But it's when the cost structure of the industry changes, that's when those pressures for change are what are really going to precipitate a major sort of rethink about how digitization applies, how data applies to running smoother, more efficient operations. And so right now I would say you got to pick where you want to play, because there are certain jurisdictions, Scandinavia being one of them, where they're ahead of the curve, right? But how are those externalities, costing in those externalities, going to come about? Is it going to be regulation? Well, that's kind of hard, because it's not, achieving that on a global basis is probably not within easy reach. Might happen on a country or regional basis. There could be end user pull through to absorb. People might say, within ESG is the idea of having clean supply chains, right? So if you're using a shipping company that doesn't meet standards for sustainable operation, then you don't use that shipping company. So probably the I would bet on the end user pull to be the dominant force that will create the pressure for change, which will require shipping companies to respond.
No. Thank you very much, David. So my next question is, the superpower question. So our first Superman to answer is Malloy. So Malloy, consider your quarter decade of experience in maritime, offshore, and oil and gas industries, and think for a moment you have a superpower. So my question is, to make a positive impact in the industry, what specific change related to digitization would you bring and why?
If I have the superpower, obviously, then I should have a lot of money also. But that is one of the issue which I see as everywhere it is. The industry is so dynamic. The freight rates are so dynamic, and it is so it is so regulated driven. That the challenge is that where is the money, and more important is the cost of operation. And as I earlier said, that one of the fellow panelists said about the budget, and it is all revolving around in and around the budget, because this industry is very much capital intensive, and I know from a LNG tanker to a bulk carrier how much the investment goes in. So obviously the people are mostly thinking on the return on investment, obviously, and then they will look into the budget. If one thing I can just think of is the innovation is linked with the how we solve the problems. So for having a digitalization, people have that mindset to move to a more efficient way of working, and that would actually solve the problem and will encourage a lot of and a lot of industry people to innovate and get more better solutions. So I feel that there are plenty of areas. But again, one more challenge is the digitalization has started in marine, but adoption is little bit late. And on top of it, that because there are regulatory changes are coming so many, so people are now seeing that so many within the operation, I'm saying, they are more conscious that they are now using 4 to 5 softwares, and that is which is also the integration and one software which can cater to everything, which is having another challenge, which can actually give all the data what they need for vessel operation. So one that is one of the area I feel that should improve. And obviously, if I have a superpower, investment should go in, I would say, and people have a process.
Okay, thank you, Adria. So, think you are a Superman. What do you do? I mean, do you unite all the marine electric companies?
Sure. I think I'll do 2 options. One is a fantasy, and the other one is a realistic, achievement. As a fantasy, and it might sound a little bit politically incorrect or perceived, as a socialist, effect, but I would really nationalize all the freight companies in the world, because I think that this is an essential service to everyone, as it is internet, as it is electricity or water. The power that distribution have in the cost of living and the ability to have proper medicines, proper food, etc., it's huge. And I would say that we will take the decisions based on driven data, and instead of just cost driven. So again, this is my fantasy, and maybe that will help to accelerate. It will open up the door to the rest of the industry to follow. Fantasy said, I think realistically, we don't fall far from what we've just been saying. Will be to accelerate the development of the standardized sharing protocols, and that's to me the first and foremost, think that should happen, for the same reason that I just mentioned, because then decisions will be made on data. And this is what I think is lacking the industry today.
Okay, thank you. David, you might have something to make an impact on the environment.
Well, look, I think I'm starting to sound a little bit redundant here, in that the scenario you were talking about, the scenarios, the pressures for change that have to unfold in order to initiate the pull through demand for these digital solutions that will come into play. They will happen. Look, I think carbon pricing is greenhouse gas credits. Carbon pricing of credits is a good example. That's for real. That's not going away. Shipping companies are going to have to purchase those credits to offset their impact on the environment. That is a method of pricing in the externalities of shipping services, and that will flow through to consumers. And that will put pressure on to reduce costs, to be more efficient, to be able to, very importantly, to be able to verify that your impact has been X and not Y, in order to be credible. So look, I mean, I think that is a major future to come for the maritime industry. It is not going to remain unscathed vis-a-vis other industries in terms of its impact. There's quite a bit of focus on the sustainability impact, the environmental impact of the shipping industry. So I would be looking there. If I was a entrepreneur thinking I wanted to really do something in shipping to have an impact, that's exactly where I would be looking.
Good idea. Thank you so much. So, Ivan.
Yeah, I guess the word positive is pretty subjective. So I guess for the startups, it will be really cool if you give every vessel in the world unlimited internet connection for free and double the oil prices, for example. But it's not going to happen. In terms of positive impact, really hard to say one thing. My guess that it's it already happens and it just needs more time. So maybe I will just boost a bit the time till the point where we will pass some industrial transformation. Will be more connectivity technologies when participants will be talking to each other, will have a basis for problem solving. I guess this helps a lot. In my free scrubber for everyone. This kind of stuff.
Thank you. So is there anyone that want to add something? No, okay. Here we came to the final question. So we have completed the cycle. Let's ask the last question to you, Adria. Based on your experience, what is one key recommendation you would like to offer to startups and innovators as they build and market their digital solutions in the marine sector?
Be ready to become homeless for a period of time, and good luck. But no, I think it might sound very simple, but it's I will tell everyone to prioritize collaboration and partnerships. I think it's essential for the future of many industries, but especially this one, because it's been so segregated. It's been so nobody knows. Everybody's blind, at least for what I'm perceiving, across these companies all over the world. And there is a lack of, sharing technologies, because the solution that you might find might work for me and vice versa. And that collective awareness, I think it will be very important if you're part of it. Obviously, I think that's echoed, with the purpose of the nonprofit that we're just running. And the rest is the ABC, right? Just try to find solutions for real life problems try to align, with the trends of the regulations in terms of sustainability, circular economies, etc. And I think that this is, I'm no one to give counsel to an entrepreneur, but that's what I would, that's been my experience.
Okay, thank you. So, David, we can continue with you.
So the question is, what advice would I give to a startup or entrepreneurs?
Startups. Right.
Sure. You pick something with real demand, where there are real pressures for change, and make sure it's a really great idea, and that you're targeting a big space, that you're best placed to win, and that you know what to do, so you have credibility, and that it's worth money. So if it's half as good, it'll still be great. And if you can't fit that shoe on Cinderella's foot, then go find something else to do. It's an area that entrepreneurs should be focused on, because there's a lot of puzzle drive in what we're talking about. It is a massive industry. The numbers are huge, and I think somebody who has the clarity of sight to see what those pressures for change are and the tectonic shifts that will take place. It cannot be an industry that goes unscathed, particularly in the context of what I rant and rave about all the time, which is marine conservation aspect and the climate aspect. So it's out there. So I just encourage startups, entrepreneurs, go find it, because it'll be there. My God, the proliferation of IoT devices. If you think about all the sensors that are being placed on the ocean's surface right now, added to the land-based and the satellite-based, my God, there's something to be done with that, right? Okay, it's I think it's an industry that needs a bit of a paradigm shift.
Yeah, it definitely should, should target the real life problem, and the difference between startups and SMEs, I think, is to achieve a high growth rate. That's why the business somehow should be very, very scalable, and the entrepreneurs should try to find the real life problems and solve it with a very scalable model, I guess. So Ivan, we can continue with you.
Thanks a lot. So it's once again really hard to say one specific thing, because there are many. As a startup founder, you're mostly working in absolutely uncertain surroundings, with the limited budget, with the limited time frames. Pretty much, maritime sector is also about the corporates around you. So it's a pretty, once again, closed market. It's pretty conservative market when it goes to the innovations. My guess, there are some specific parts of your journey, and the major one is your motivation as the founder, because this is what drives you, that moves you forward. And actually, there are a lot of books written. My favorite one from Ben Horowitz, it's a famous one, The Hard Thing About Hard Things. And I guess it's important to absorb information from already successful, ex-founders, VCs. And also, I remember the quote. I don't remember the author of this quote, but it's about how big would you dream if you will be sure that you won't fail. And this is something that you perhaps over time you should stay with your vision. You should stay with your understanding why you started, basically, because with every year, with every next step, the horror, just like the level of horror around and complexity just increase, and just over time it becomes simple and it's not that heavy anymore, etc. So There are plenty of challenges, obstacles, etc. But my guess at the end, it's about the motivation, why you decide to wake up and continue your venture, why you decide to move forward, and that's what differentiates a founder and entrepreneur from other types of motivation. And like in terms of recommendations, I don't know, believe in yourself.
Yeah, it should keep you awake, and I believe the patience is also a key word to be successful as well. So Malloy,
Yeah, most of the things are already said, but one thing I really like about when you said about scalability, understanding the real life problem, and then to bridge that gap and scale it up. That is absolutely important for an industry perspective as well as for an entrepreneur also. Another thing, what I feel is that especially in maritime industry, what we have seen in past and even happening now as we speak, there are companies based out of Singapore. It's sort of a forming a strategic partnership within the maritime community or within the companies. If that is one of the thing which I see that if that can happen, obviously it encourages a lot of entrepreneurs to actually at least collaborate together with the maritime fraternity, where they see that they don't have experience, they understand the actual pain points, and then they can work together to bring a solution. So these are the two things I can suggest. But as rightly mentioned by one, is that dream big, and obviously that will only that is important, because every day morning when we wake up, we have to understand why we are what we are planning to do and what is driving us. So if the drive is there, obviously everything will work. These are only three things I would like to mention.
awesome. Does anyone have anything to add or would like to share a different perspective? Okay, so thank you all for your valuable contributions today. I believe our discussion has shed light on the exciting innovations and challenges in the marine industry, and your expertise has been invaluable. Thank you. To our audience, we hope you found this panel discussion insightful and inspiring. If you have any further question or would like to connect with our panelists, please keep your notes, and we have Q&A session at the end. Once again, big thank you to our distinguished panelists for sharing knowledge and expertise. So we are moving to the roasting session, and here I would like to give the floor to myself. I will give you a bit info about how we are working to redesign the yachting and leisure marine industry by digitizing the parties. So I'm going to share my screen first and introduce Boatmate, but I will keep it no more than 5 minutes. Then we can continue with the Q&A session. So let me just share my screen. Just a second. Can you see the presentation?
Yep.
Okay. Perfect. So I'm Murat, co-founder of Boatmate. As you know, the recreational boating industry is unable to adapt to today's digital world. So think boaters, when they need any products or services like technical support, marinas, or spare parts, finding reliable options is always challenging. Boaters often rely on word of mouth and struggle to connect with businesses. This is because marine businesses have limited digital presence and they are still at an early stage of digitization. So to address this challenge and transform the industry, we developed Boatmate. Boatmate is a pioneer marine tech hub empowering businesses with digitization to enhance customer experience and streamline their sales. This is how the very first version of the platform looks like from a business perspective, Boatmate serve as a digitization hub, offering turnkey solutions for online sales and improved customer experiences. For boaters, Boatmate is the ultimate one-stop platform for working with reliable marine businesses. And boaters can use Boatmate to search, connect, and collaborate with marine businesses, preventing them from getting lost in the vast digital landscape. So let's explore the market. As you might be familiar with this number, the US and Europe represent 90% of the global market, with 20 million plus boats and over 140 million active boaters. And the industry's economic impact in the US alone is more than $230 billion, according to NMEA's report. While at these giant and untapped market, Boatyard is our main competitor, we believe that our unique business model and scalability set us apart. So to enter into these markets effectively and achieve a snowball effect on the growth, we developed Boatmate Business Hub solution. But this solution empowers key players in the market, such as marinas, boat dealers, or insurance firm who has a large customer base, to offer a comprehensive yachting experience to their customer. So, for example, marinas, they can create a business hub, invite their partners or suppliers worldwide to join. By this way, that marina can provide all the needs of its customer by leveraging the power of trusted partner network. So this approach transforms the key players and make them become a yachting experience firm. And also it unlocks a new revenue stream for them. So what we have done so far. After securing our very first VC investment at the idea stage, we have received registration of more than 250 marine businesses and 1,300 boaters sign-ups only for test period. We forged strategic partnership with an important brands and entered accelerator program in the US and Singapore. So how we are making money? Our business model is a hybrid. The business model relies on subscription and commissions from marine businesses, and we aim to surpass $100 million turnover in 3 years. So this is the team behind Boatmate. We are a small team right now. We are 2 co-founders. Asim, he's a PhD degree computer engineer, leading the technical aspect. I drive the business development. So each of us as a co-founders, we have more than 15 years of experience, and we are also backed by a renowned team and globally recognized advisors and investors. So we believe that Boatmate is set to disrupt and redesign the recreational boating industry around the world, and we are looking for visionary marine businesses to become a pioneer users, companies to collaborate with, and investors that look for a disruptive business model. So thank you for your time and your patience. So we can jump to a Q&A session. Pankaj?
Yeah, no, this has been fantastic. I think, Murat, you have done a fantastic job with moderating the panel, and love the insights from our panelists. But I think this is time to roast Murat. And why we love this roast session, because most of the times founders don't get a brutal, honest feedback on their solution. They hear a sugar-coated BS. And that's why I request our panelists to come back with your questions, with your feedback, and be as honest as possible. So anybody would like to ask a question to Murat on the solution? Please go ahead.
Yeah, so I guess it's a marketplace, and it's a B2B or maybe a C2B marketplace. No, not C, but like private individual. So how do you manage that they won't use your marketplace once and then just grab a client and run away, or this kind of stuff?
Yeah, thank you. At first we were trying to at the beginning of the entrepreneurial journey on Boatmate, we start by positioning the platform as a marketplace, and then we've seen that the marketplace, being a marketplace, comes with a lot of challenges. There is a chicken and egg problem and a lot of things, and a lot of problems like the one that you have said. So we are mainly positioning the platform as a digitization hub. By saying that, you might see a platform where boaters search and find whatever they need. So from that perspective, yes, it's a marketplace. But we mainly promote our digital solutions, such as marine e-commerce solutions or payment solutions. For instance, you have a marina. You can come to a Boatmate platform, create your online store, and start selling your haul-out services, let's say booking service or pump-out service, whatever you have, on your own digital space. We let you create a digital space for you so that you can share a link with your customers and say that you can, let's say, request your next pump-out service through the link, or you can use the payment solution and just share a link with your customers and say that, hey, you have $10,000 balance. Please click the link and pay your balance with your credit card. So it also we facilitate the digitization of businesses. Right now we have just mobile, but soon, before the end of next season, we're going to have the web version as well, so that you can add this to your own website as well. You might put your online services section, and whoever click on your online services can go to your online store, purchase whatever they want. So this is how we are, acting. We mainly pushing the digitization part, not the marketplace part. Marketplace part is an add-on. So while you are digitizing your business, you are not getting lost in a internet space. So you digitize, and then boaters who are on the hub can also find you and keep working with you through the platform so that you can gain new customers. But the marketplace is not the number one, has number one priority on our strategy.
Mm.
David.
Hi. So my question is, who are you competing against, globally, regionally? And then why are you best placed to win?
Yeah, our main competitor is from the United States, which is named Boatyard, which was acquired by MarineMax a couple of years ago. They are one of the market leader, and they are doing a great job. But their business model is quite different than what we have. Mainly they have a supplier network, and they provide you product and services that you need. From our perspective, we are an open platform for all marine businesses. We just don't have the companies that they are selling their products. We have some similarities, for instance, with Google Maps. You can find any company that you need through the platform, check the reviews, share your experience. And if they are selling something, you can purchase its product and services. So again, the Boatyard is the main competitor, but our business model is quite different. And we believe that what we have is much more scalable and much more inclusive. I hope that helps.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I also have one more.
Please.
Please go ahead.
What will happen if, for example, any fraud or, like really, really bad service provider will appear on the platform? Who's responsible for that?
Yeah, that's an important question. Our role is to maintain reliable marine businesses on the platform. So there is some selection process. I mean, any company in the world, any marine business in the world, the marine business, but you understand, we focused on the recreational boating industry. In that vertical, any business can have a profile on Boatmate. Having a profile is not a big issue. But when you are launching your store, we are making a KYC, and we have some process. It's not only for only our operation. We are mediating payments. That's why that area is highly regulated, so that there is a KYC process, and we are doing it. And of course, if there are some community rules and some platform rules, if we detect any fraud actions, there are some steps to be taken. Not only we are taking that step, but also how to say, the financial institutes that we are partnering can take the same action as well.
Thanks a lot.
And also there is a huge power of reviews. So for instance, I have a profile. It doesn't matter if you purchase something through my Boatmate profile or not. But anyway, if you get some product or service, you can share your experience on the platform. This is important because boaters are looking for these. Normally, what they are doing in their daily life, they're calling each other and get advice of their friends. But this is a very old school experience. So imagine you're jumping to a marine business directory, which is Boatmate in this case. You check the reviews of the people, the like-minded people, get some idea. And then if you prefer, you can contact with the company and place your order behind. But we believe that we are designing tools that is going to keep both parties on the Boatmate platform. We are, we promise that we are providing a better and let's say enrich customer experience that can attract and keep the parties on the platform, and also we support this model with our business model. I mean, we don't have a marketplace kind of pricing commission kind of models. We are much more business friendly model.
Murat, two things. I first of all, I had the privilege to have your pitch recently, so I might repeat. It might sound familiar what we're saying. And one of my first comments was to think about what is the added value that you bring to a final customer. Why would someone take their phone, open your app, and do and search and find the best company, the best shop for the service that is needed at that moment? And I think that these have to do with time and money. Either you have the perception that this is time efficient, or you have the perception that this is saving you money over the year because it helps you to keep an eye on the best practices to maintain your vessel, or how to keep the insurance, competitive insurance, how to keep all your documents. We talk about that on that part. So I think that to me this is crucial. And another part that comes to mind is I wouldn't discard you. I believe that you will have to do certain curational. You will have to intervene in making sure that the shops have the proper face and availability to the final customer. Because if once again, I'm an end customer, I open the app and I call 3 of the companies, it will be like, well, I'd rather go to Google Maps and I have, the same access, and either way nobody's answering. Why? Not because they don't want your business, but because many of these companies, as we know, the mom and pop shops that you find in the marinas, they're not digitalized at all. They don't use sometimes even points of sale. They are still pen and paper. And they are the trusted, shop of for 20 years, 30 years, that you've been using, that you've been buying, whatever equipment, and that the cousin is the mechanic of the marina and provide you with the service. Breaking that layer of familiarity, etc., I think it will require, and in order to gain the trust of the customer, I think you might need to create as American Express create, for certain cards where you need something, you call and you have 24/7 someone that can assist you and can filter those calls, at least at the very beginning, to gain the evangelist, and BAP customers that will that will convert to your app, and more importantly, that the recurrency, how much time do they spend, how many tickets do they open? That's what it will prove, the success of your platform. So I would definitely, consider how to handpick, what are the best businesses. Not all of them could be candidate. From what you're saying, I find difficult that all the business will be candidates. Some of them, they will never answer the phone. Some of them, they don't even have. And if they have the phone, they don't care. They're face-to-face. They're human interactive based relationships. So you might need to interfere to enhance the experience for the consumer. That will add a cost, I think, on your labor and a cost of acquisition somehow. But quality versus quantity. You rather one recommendation that I'm seeing more and more on venture capital's final potential exits, merge, is one of the data is the recurrency rather than the conversion rate. You might convert all over the world, but if you convert and you don't have any recurrency metric to show that a good portion of your customer base continues using your app or consumes your product, you're burning money, right? So focus rather on a region, own that region, make yourself dependable for those business and those boat owners to be the meeting point where they know that they have the best service, the best, the most time efficient, and where they can save money. And I can't picking, maybe David was asking which region or which area, if I understood well. I think that can be crucial to see what is the cheapest, lowest level entry to acquire, to own Sicily, to own Sardinia, to own Barcelona, to own, San Francisco, whatever it is, and, prove that you can really make an impact, on the region, and then continue, growing organically.
Correct.
So, your thoughts?
Yeah. About the last thing that you said, we were in a test period for the last couple of months, because we know that the customer segment that we're targeting is, let's say, a premium segment, and they are, we should go to them with a proven platform. That's why we were in a test period, and we selected one of the hardest markets in the Mediterranean region, which is Turkey. This market is, if we list the majority of the digitization, maybe Turkey is the last one. So we prefer to start from here because there are a lot of challenges, and we thought that if we can solve the problem here, then we have a much more bright future. And we did the same that you have mentioned. We have onboarded a lot of different businesses from different verticals, such as, marina, technical services, pump out, blah, blah. And we have seen that, there is an important interest in the market, not only from the voter side, but also from the company side. And the results that we get on the transactions were awesome. Voters really like the innovative approach, because they are getting vote by having an old school experience. They don't want to call the people. Okay, they want to work with, for instance, I want to work with you. I trust you, but there should be a simpler way to be able to get a service from you, or buy your product, or make my payment. It should be much more up to date, and we are fixing that issue. For instance, there were some companies that used the platform in a test phase, and they were saying that we are, having an order through the phone is a big, let's say, load on our staff, and it is hard to manage the manual operation. That's why they prefer to, place their store, the new digital store that they created on Boatmate as an interface, and they shared the link with their customer base and said that for your next order, use the link, place your order whenever you want, because boating industry is different. Boaters are, let's say, boaters can call the company at midnight and say that I have a cleaning service. I need a cleaning service. Why you are not waiting the morning? Why are you calling me at night? But this is business, and companies open the phone. Most of them are not, as corporate companies. They are small companies, so there is a personal relationships. That's why they're having open the call. But this is not what they want. Imagine if there is an online system, the customer might remind at the middle of the night, giving, requesting a cleaning service, but they can use the online service and place the order. So in the morning, service provider can see the request and can also it assure that the provision is taken. So this is a real order, and then take it to its list. So this is a good approach for companies. They really like it because they want to digitize their business to better manage their operation, to ease the payment collection process, and offer a brand new customer experience to their clients. And on the other hand, from a boater's perspective, this ease their life. Whenever they remind something, they can check the platform, find the product and service, place their order with a couple of clicks. Normally, it takes a lot of time sometimes to find the right products and services, and it can be annoying. If you need a spare part or just, let's say, diving service, imagine a rope wrapped to your propeller, you need a diver. So how are you going to find who you should call? It's a big challenge. But we are solving all those issues by just with a couple of clicks. You can find the company, check the reviews, and understand if this is reliable company, if the other boaters like the product or services or not, and then confidently you can place your order through the platform. And at that stage, Boatmate gives some, let's say, a warranty, since this is an online platform. Before the transaction, the digital agreement is signed between parties. So this is much more reliable way of working with marine businesses. So it's we get a very, very promising feedbacks from both ends. So about your first question, the benefits of your platform, we should evaluate it with true perspective. For boaters, Boatmate kind of platforms create, ease their life, helping them to easily find what they need is important. Normally boaters spend a lot of time on the internet just to find a company or product. Finding a company is not, is step one, but a lot of marine businesses have not a reliable information on the internet. Their phone numbers might be different, emails might be different, or even if they have a website, they might not use it. So it can be hard to reach out to that company. That's one problem, and we are solving it. On the other hand, the reviews, and we have a niche community, and you can see the reviews of those niche community and understand you get an insight about the company or product. On the other hand, we create a price transparency, which is important because we have seen that all around the world, the pricing might change from boaters to boaters. This is not something good, and this annoying people, boaters. So on the online platform, you cannot do the same. I mean, on the online platform, you have just one pricing. That's why it creates a trust to the prices. And also we have a tagging structure, which indicates, we are having the best price. If you find another, alternative or, better pricing, then we are going to refund the difference between it, kind of things. Also, it's again, since you are making a digital agreement in between parties, then the voters feels much more confident than having a direct relationship. Also, we have, by using that tagging structure, we can indicate who are an authorized company of a brand, who is not. I mean, imagine we can we have an infrastructure to tag authorized, let's say, Yamaha dealers. Who is giving these tags? The official distributor or the brand itself. So as a voters, when you see the authorization tag, you will understand that this is an authorized service, because this is a huge problem in the industry. People confuse if it's an authorized or not. And from a business perspective, this is an easy to digitize platform. I mean, we have the payment solution, e-commerce solution, and we are going to add new business solution on top of it, such as CRM kind of things, so that only on a Boatmate platform, marine businesses, especially the SMEs, can digitize their business and start providing a better customer experience to their clients.
Well, it's great to see the energy and the passion behind Boatmate. But yeah, this has been a fantastic panel. I mean, I see that all the panelists are extremely excited, optimistic about the innovations in the industry, but they are also concerned about the policies, about the regulations, about the silos, the difficulty of the adoption, and so on and so forth. And I hope that through these kind of conversations, panels, discussions, we can solve at least some of these problem statements, if not all. Again, really appreciate everybody's time today. Panelists, you have done fantastic job with the insights that you have shared with the audience, with us. Murad, really appreciate your time with moderating the panel, pitching Boatmate, getting the feedback. I hope we could have gotten even more sort of brutal feedback and questions on the solution, but I hope we will get them in one-on-one sessions. This is not the end. I think this is just the beginning of this relationship. So let's reconnect in the next couple of weeks, months, and see how we can collaborate, how we can support each other's initiatives and be of help. Again, appreciate everybody's time, and let's reconnect soon. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye.